Hey, so many people like us think of moving abroad, mostly to Canada and Australia in their 40s. It's like a midlife crisis when you're finally doing well in your job and your kids are in good schools and you built your first, maybe your second home. Suddenly, after having ticked off everything in your list, you are not satisfied. Our friends moved abroad right after college, and now our children were thinking of doing college in North America or Europe. And suddenly, for us, we felt that this is a chance to take that final leap of faith and be able to enjoy the quality of life that we deserved after having worked so hard. So, if your story resounds with us and you are thinking of moving to Canada in your 40s, then I'm sure our experience will help in making your decision easier and your journey smoother.
We arrived in Canada in 2022 as a family of four while my husband was on work permit. Since then, it has been a learning experience trying to understand the culture, the history, the geography, and the ways of Canadian people who are warm, respectful, and compassionate, living in cities that are well planned, immaculately maintained, while preserving the pristine beauty of nature.
But everything good comes with a price, doesn't it? So even a three-bedroom flat in the suburbs of Toronto or Ottawa may set you back by $28,000. And if you add to it the cost of heating, electricity, car mortgage, car insurance, groceries for a family of four, you need to have at least 4,500 monthly. That means before your family arrives in Canada, at least one person in the family should have a job in hand. And if not a job in hand, then at least very transferable skills like engineering or product management. Because if you come as a teacher or as a nurse or as a dentist, then you'll have to do several courses before you're able to set your foot in the job market. And you have a family to feed, don't you? It's very different when you come in your 20s because then you are so much more amenable. You can work as a DoorDash delivery person or as an Uber driver or salesperson in Walmart and Tim Hortons. But in your 40s, when you're already used to a certain level of seniority in your job and a certain level of comfort in your life, it is very difficult to start afresh. Also, these entry-level positions are already oversaturated by international students who are willing to work at low wages and at very uncomfortable hours. Another very important factor to consider when you are arriving in your 40s compared to if you were coming in your 20s is the medical system. Canada is famous world over for having a free medical system, and that is why the Canadian cities are repeatedly ranked among the top 5 cities to live in all over the world. So the Canadian medical system is free. Let us try to understand how free it actually is. Every person who is in Canada is supposed to have a medical care card, and this care card is free for permanent residents and for citizens. With this care card, you can go and visit your family doctor or to a walk-in clinic. Visits to your family doctor or in a walk-in clinic are free. You don't have to pay for them. If the doctor thinks that you have a life-threatening complication or a complication that limits your possibilities, in that case, the doctor will refer you to a specialist, and the visits to the specialist are also free. However, in case you have to visit a dentist or a physiotherapist or a specialist for diseases that are not life threatening, like varicose veins, then you may have to pay for those visits to a specialist. Another thing about having a shortage of doctors is that the doctor will give you only 2 minutes of his time and listen to only one complaint. Also, if you are sick today and you get an appointment for 2 days later, that defeats the whole purpose of meeting the doctor. But that is what the situation actually is. Regarding your medicines, well, medicines have to be paid from your own pocket unless the insurance or some kind of government rebate covers for it. However, visits to the emergency are free. That means in case you have an emergency, you visit a hospital, then you don't have to pay for it. But you may have to wait because there's a shortage of doctors, and they will prioritize a person with a bigger emergency over a person whose emergency is smaller. Another crucial aspect would be education. We all know that school education in Canada is free. That means almost everybody goes to public schools, and the fact that they do not have to pay fee and everybody is assigned a school according to their catchment area makes it possible that there is no rich or poor divide for education. Everybody has access to the same education. The education is definitely not as rigorous as in South Asia or Southeast Asia. The level of arithmetic and language is much lower. However, children learn such important life skills like social skills, how to interact in society, respect for others. Whether it's sun or it's rain or it's snow, children go to school and they practice all sports in all kinds of weather.
Another trait which is encouraged at a very young age is independence, whether it's in schoolwork or walking to and from school. Children as young as 10 years are able to go to school by themselves, and it says a lot about the safety in the country. Also, on their way to school, children pass over a lot of nature ecosystems. Like here, they are walking over a bridge which is on a stream which is a protected salmon habitat. And at a very young age, children learn to respect and coexist with nature, and it's a habit that will last them a lifetime.
At post-secondary level, that means for colleges, the fee is much less for permanent residents and for citizens, and that is a plus point. And also the top universities, it's much easier to get into in Canada.
To expand the concept of universal education even further, every neighborhood has its own library which is well equipped with books, DVDs, computers that you are free to use, and places where children can just study in peace and quiet. To summarize, Canada is the land of hardworking immigrant people who are respectful, professional, always politically correct, and have a great sense of community and environment. And they will always welcome with open arms people who share these values.